Okay, so next I'd like to introduce, I'm sorry if I butcher your last name, but it's Robin Ricci, who's a council tenant.
Sorry, hi everyone. Thank you. That was correct pronunciation of my name. Thank you. The situation is a bit similar to you, but I've got complex medical history, and I have done since 1990s when I moved to Edinburgh as a student and ended up staying in Edinburgh. I was in private accommodation after graduating, and in 2000 I became homeless, and I was on the list for the council housing, but I didn't get anything, and I was staying on a sofa for about 3 months. And because I've got medical history and I was working at the time, I decided to get private property in Tollcross, basically. And in that property, I was there for about 17 years till the private landlord all of a sudden decided to make me homeless on Christmas Eve, 2017, after 17 years. But before that, I was already on the list for housing, and I had goal priority because of health reasons, because of the stairs I couldn't manage anymore. But the push came when the landlord wanted to increase the rent for £150 a month in one shot after 17 years. I was on the list for housing. I was given goal priority. Instead of going into temporary accommodation, a property came not very far from where I lived in Tollcross. The property wasn't suitable, but I was forced to take it because I was told if I didn't, the goal priority would be taken away, and it would be better for me to go into that property and rather than go into temporary accommodation because of the delicate medication that I was on. This is what I was told. So I was threatened in a way that I had to take this property. I have no family in Edinburgh. I've got a few friends that help me out. I'm in an area where if I move from this area, then my doctor of 30 years or so who has known my medical complex, and I have several consultants that they have to deal with. If I move out of this area, I'm in danger that I have to move away from them. I suffer from anxiety and various other things like mental health issues too, because of the chronic illness. I was put into this property 3 years ago. Although it's not suitable, it's absolutely freezing. Although it's really sunny outside, it's absolutely freezing. It's very, very high ceiling. I'm only very, very petite. I can't change the light bulb. I can't read the meter reading. I can't do very much in this property. And since I've moved in here, I've got circulation issues, which means my health has deteriorated hugely for the past 3 years. And I've been on the housing list. I've had occupational therapists come in. There's various other organisations that have been fantastic in Edinburgh helping me out. But the council, despite all that, although I bid for properties, I don't get anything. And from time to time, they take my goal priority away because I don't bid for properties. The reason I can't bid outside this area, I'm stuck to it. I would have to move out of my doctor's surgery. And I can't afford to do that for health reasons. 3 years on, I'm on the list, and it's just been really difficult. The housing situation has been difficult. Although they knew right at the beginning that it wasn't suitable for me, they still threatened to take away the goal priority. Yeah. So I had no choice but to move. So it's a bit similar to what you've gone through in the homeless situation, but I wasn't homeless for that long because I was working at the time in 2000, and I took a property and I ended up staying in that property for 17 years. But that's what you get with private renting. The renting has just shot up so much. And if you are not working, even if you are working low paid, there's no chance that you can afford the renting whatsoever. That's my story.
Well, thank you very much for speaking. You know, just hearing people's stories from on the ground, and it really does, you know.
Sorry, one more thing. As you were saying, when I got this property, I never got a council property, so I didn't know, and I wasn't working for years because I had to give up my job because of health reason. When you said that they just give you a property and you look at the property, I came into this property and I ended up crying because there were massive holes in the floorboards. My God, it was just horrific. The living room, the bedroom, the hallway, everywhere had massive, massive holes. I had to get a friend and a counsellor on my side to actually get them to actually put some sort of floorboard on before I put the carpet in. And knowing with health reasons and mental health and various other things, it was so difficult, and I got no help whatsoever. So you were right to say that what you've experienced, I've experienced similar. They just give you the house and that's it, and they don't deal with it anymore.
Yeah, you're completely right. Not to, harp on in my situation or anything, but when I first got this flat, there was cat pee up the walls, and the windows that I'm still fighting to get changed were leaking air, so it's freezing. So like, I completely sympathise with you, and there's no support, and hearing stories from people on the ground is really important to try and help further the campaign, because unless you've actually like experienced it, nobody listens because it's just hearsay. So it's really good to hear. And I do hope that it gets better, hopefully, sooner rather than later, but also with everybody involved, being able to change the system.